the vehicle can lift up off the ground and lose contact with the road, and you can just veer off, and there's nothing you can do to correct it. So good tires, good tire tread, very important. There's a way to, let's see if I got one of this. An old rule of thumb, you take a penny with Abraham Lincoln, you stick it into the tread, on a new vehicle, he would, you wouldn't be able to see his head at all. It would cover almost all of his entire head. As you can see on my tires, which have about 40 or 50,000 miles on them there, only the top of his head, you can see his nose and his ears and all that. So that tells me that my tires are almost to the end of their life. That's just kind of an old mechanic rule of thumb there. But they do actually make tread wear gauges that you can buy to measure the tread wear. But you can usually look at a tire and tell that the tread's almost gone, compared to a new one especially. What else do we want to talk about here? You can look at your tires for another thing too. The wear on the tires can tell you a lot about the condition of the suspension of the vehicle. If you look at your front tires and you see good tread on the outside and the inside is almost completely slick, that tells you got something wrong with the front end of the vehicle. Your tires are not sitting straight up and down and running straight down the road like they're supposed to be. Usually what that is worn parts that is allowing the front end to start to collapse, and it'll collapse in on itself like that and make the inside of the tires wear out first. And that's dangerous because generally you don't see the inside that much. That's one of those things you have to kind of look for. You see the outside tread when you get out and walk by the vehicle, but you have to actually kind of look under the vehicle sometimes to see the inside tread. So watching the tread wear can tell you stuff about the condition of the suspension itself. So if you see anything like that, like uneven wear, that's something you want to have checked out by a qualified mechanic, because you could have some very dangerous situations, because some of those front end parts, when they get worn, they can you can lose control because the steering can not work, and different things that can happen in a worst case scenario setting. So want to look for that. Another important thing about tires is the type of tire and the size of the tire. I was at the Lakeland Tire just the other day trying to get tires on my boat trailer because we were trying to go out of town to go fishing, and the guy that runs the place had to stop and answer the phone, and the person on the other line wanted to know if he had a 17-inch tire. And I was standing there beside him on the phone, so I was hearing the one side of the conversation, and he was trying to explain to the person that he needed to know what size tire. There's like 30 different sizes of 17-inch tire, but they said, no, I mean, it's just a 17-inch tire. Well, there's not just a 17-inch tire. You can have a 17-inch tire on a small car and a 17-inch tire on a big truck like this, because that's only, the 17 is only the size of the rim that the tire is mounted on. There's a lot of difference in the outside tire itself. So what you'll see if you'll look right here, I think it shows it on the side. There it is, very tiny. A lot of times it's a lot bigger than that. You'll have three numbers that give you the size of the tire. This is a 265 60 18, R18, and the R is of course for rim, so that means this is an 18-inch rim, and the 265 is the width of the tread on top, and the 60 is the ratio of the sidewall height. Now you don't really need to know that, just tell you that to tell you that those numbers actually do mean something. So when you need a tire, you need to know that. Inside the door of most vehicles, it's right inside right here on this one. I'll wipe the dust off so you can see it. You have a tire information sticker, and that's important because sometimes people will put a really cheap set of tires on a used vehicle and put the wrong set of tires on the vehicle. So in order to ensure you've got the correct tire size and the correct inflation, you want to check that tire sticker right here, and usually it's inside the driver's door in most vehicles. It'll tell you the size and the air pressure. Which brings me to air pressure. What do I do with my tire gauge? this is what you check the pressure with. And the way we do that, you want to walk over this way. Look for your valve stem. It's going to have a cap on it, or should. And push it, make sure that your gauge is pushed all the way in. And push it on and pull it off. And see, we got 33, 34 pounds of pressure in that tire right there. So we want to look right here on our tire sticker. And it says that we should have 35 PSI. So we're 1 pound off. So 1 pound's not that bad. One thing to keep in mind when you check, that's the cold pressure. So this one's probably a couple pounds low when you check it cold because they've been warmed up driving here. If you've been driving it in hot weather, the tire pressure is going to read a little bit higher. If you're not driving in cold weather, it's going to read a little bit lower because that temperature will affect because it's air inside the tire. Anybody want to practice?